Bueno, bienvenidos a una edición nueva de ADEN Live, donde hoy una edición especial que me complace, me llena de orgullo estar en este momento con el profesor Ahmed Manafa, un destacadísimo académico que vive en los Estados Unidos y que es un experto en temas de inteligencia artificial, en temas de Big Data, en temas de ciberseguridad y en temas de blockchain. Estas cuatro tecnologías que he mencionado son de alguna manera cuatro tecnologías que están transformando y cambiando el mundo en el que vivimos, el mundo en el que trabajamos y, por qué no, el mundo en el que interactuamos también, ¿no? Y que nos hacen ver, de alguna manera, que todo el manejo de los grandes volúmenes de datos, más allá de que implica un procesamiento por parte de la inteligencia artificial, implica también ciertos aspectos que debemos de considerar al momento de darnos protección y privacidad. Digamos que esta inteligencia artificial y este Big Data vienen a colaborar con las organizaciones en general en todo lo que concierne a la automatización y al análisis de los grandes volúmenes de datos. Y esto de alguna forma lo que hace es permitir que las compañías, que las organizaciones puedan tomar mejores decisiones informadas justamente. Ahora, en el mismo aspecto, vamos a tener aspectos de ciberseguridad, porque estos aspectos de ciberseguridad son muy importantes en el contexto donde los datos van y vienen hacia todos lados, donde los datos son procesados, donde los datos son manipulados incluso por estos algoritmos de inteligencia artificial, y como todo dato, como todo sistema, es vulnerable y puede estar vulnerable a determinados ataques. Y en el medio tenemos también los conceptos de blockchain, las tecnologías de blockchain que vienen muy asociadas al mundo de las criptomonedas, pero que, bueno, sabemos que prometen un futuro donde la descentralización de los datos y sobre todo en el mundo de las finanzas prometen de alguna manera grandes aspectos vinculados a la seguridad y a la privacidad. Entonces, para tratar de poner un poco en contexto todas estas cosas que que estoy mencionándoles a ustedes aquí, me gustaría, bueno, en primer lugar, darle la bienvenida al profesor Ahmed. Gracias, profesor, por estar aquí hoy con nosotros en este vivo de ADEN. Y un placer conocerlo también. Y me gustaría, profesor, empezar con la primera pregunta para conocer su opinión respecto de estos temas de inteligencia artificial. eh, ¿Cómo hace la inteligencia artificial para asegurarse, si es que se puede asegurar de alguna manera, que los datos personales, que son datos sensibles, están bien protegidos y no van a ser mal utilizados?
Okay. So the question is basically asking about the use of the train uh, data for the AI in the AI model. Talking about sensitive personal information, which is the personally identified information, the PII. That includes defining you as a person, whether it is your name, your age, your race, your sex, your location. All of these things are very sensitive information that will create a profile to that person. Um, Now, the issue about how can we protect that? How can we protect this data? There are multiple levels to look at this issue. Number one is the regulations, and there are multiple regulations in different countries. For example, in Europe, there is a GDPR, which is protect the privacy of the data. In the United States, and especially in California, we have the CCPA, which is the California Consumer Protection, Act. This kind of protection is coming from the regulations, but it is broad. It's for example, the CCPA, the company has to make $25 million or more a year as revenue over 50,000 customers. With the data coming from those customers, so anything below that one will be exempt from that law. protection is coming from the companies. The companies, when they are, you sign up for any of their services, you have an agreement with them, which is the service level agreement. You click accept, and part of that one, they will tell you what kind of information that will be protected. There's some companies who are really careful about privacy, like Apple. Apple is very, very good when it comes to privacy. And there are companies who, like Facebook or Meta or Google, they're not as careful about this. And once you sign up with them, it's basically an opt-in. Opt-in means you automatically agree. It's not the reverse. You have to ask me before you can use my data, which is the opt-out in this case. So this is where it's very difficult in this case. Now, in this context, you have to understand there is public data available on the web, and this is what the companies are using. This is why OpenAI went and took all those billions of data. Just to give you an idea about how much the data is used in training those models. 500 billion token. A token is a piece of information trained 3.5, ChatGPT 3.5. 1 trillion pieces of data or tokens trained ChatGPT 4. Gemini, which belongs to Google, trained by 5.5 trillion pieces of data or tokens. And then we talk about the big one, which is the Meta Llama 3.1. The latest model of them is about 15.1 trillion token or pieces of data. This data is the data that either they have it on their servers or they got it from outside. The protection has to come from regulations, come from penalties on them. If they use it without your permission, then they have to pay you, they have to inform you, and they have to respect your decision about it. That's how you make sure that it's not abused.
Bueno, es muy claro entonces el concepto de la información pública y de la información privada. Debemos de considerar también que muchas organizaciones cuentan con grandes volúmenes de datos y a partir de esos grandes volúmenes de datos, Big Data, lo que hacen es procesarlos con inteligencia artificial para descubrir nuevos patrones, para descubrir tendencias, para conocer mejor a sus clientes. Y a veces esas empresas guardan cierta información que muchos consumidores sin dar consentimiento dejan a través de alguna plataforma o algo por el estilo. Entonces, la pregunta que le voy a hacer al profesor Ahmed en este instante tiene que ver con su opinión personal, más allá de las regulaciones que existen en distintas partes del mundo, con su opinión personal respecto de si él considera que es necesaria una regulación de la inteligencia artificial en todo el planeta para trabajar con aspectos éticos.
The answer for this one is yes. Let me give you a simple example for that. Can you imagine yourself, driving back home and then you see on a big billboard, one of those active TV big billboards, and your picture is there, and you are promoting a product that you're against this product, for example. They use your data, they use your name, they use your picture, and they use the deepfake video to create a character that will promote something. Maybe you're against it and you're not paid for that. There are 3 cases that specifically happened, and it's for just about this. One of them is the deepfake that use in the elections, where you can have a candidate who will say something or will do something that's going to impact the outcome of the elections. The other thing is the actors. When you have the actor died, then they can use the image of the actor without giving money to the to his family. Same thing, the second line of actors, where they have only one image and then they just replicate it. This is for the video. Same thing with the voice. All what you need now with the artificial intelligence is about 30 seconds, and in some instances 10 seconds of your voice anywhere on the internet, and they can create a script. They can call your family and say, I was kidnapped, you have to send the money, you don't got to call the police and send the money right away. And there's a famous case about this in Canada, where the parents sent $15,000 to that person or to that group, and because they thought their son hit a diplomat in Canada. Same thing happened with President Biden. There was a message with his name, which is a fake one created by AI, to the voters in New Hampshire saying, "Don't go and vote. It's not going to change anything. Stay home." So this abuse of the AI, whether it's a text, you can create fake news about it with fake pictures and fake text and voice, can change at the right time with the right people, can change the outcome of events. And then it's too late after that one to look at it and say, this is wrong or this is not right. A lot of people are going to believe it. This is why you need the regulation. And the regulation, there was actually a bill in California called SB 1047. It failed. And it's actually going after the source or after the companies, but the companies have the power in California. And I'm talking about Meta, Google, and big company and OpenAI. It failed because the governor refused to sign it. It's an elections year here we have in California. So what happened here is that one will go after them so they can fix it by saying there is a kill switch where you can turn the system out if something happened, or you have to have some information saying this is a fake video, this is not real video of that person. So without the regulation that will have civil penalties or criminal penalties, it's the Wild West. That's how I look at it.
Excelente. Bueno, gracias, profesor, por la respuesta. Thank you very much, professor, for the answers. En otro orden de cosas, otra de las tecnologías que viene avanzando muy fuertemente en los últimos años y que, digamos, se posiciona muy bien de cara al futuro también, es la tecnología de blockchain. Porque esta tecnología tiene muchas promesas por delante, sobre todo en lo que es la descentralización de los datos, lo que es la privacidad, lo que es la seguridad. Entonces, a mí me gustaría entonces preguntarle al profesor cómo cree que la tecnología de blockchain puede mejorar la privacidad y qué otras prácticas se puede utilizar este blockchain más allá de las criptomonedas.
Okay, I wrote 2 books about blockchain, and I published a lot of articles about blockchain. Blockchain is a great technology. It's a decentralized ledger, just people to understand what does that mean. There is a copy of the information in multiple locations, and they're connected together and they sync with each other. If you change one of them, and then all of them will have the same information. They are very powerful. Why? Because they are immutable. Immutable means you cannot change it. Once you write that information, the information is stored. That's it. And it's decentralized. It's taken off the single point failure that we see it in the data center like the one behind me, where you have all the information in one place. People can hack on that, can change it, and it's going to impact everybody. The blockchain technology is way more than the use of the cryptocurrency. It's actually being hurt by the cryptocurrency because everybody thinks that blockchain cryptocurrency, and that's why you don't see a lot of companies investing in this, because they say we don't want to go with the cryptocurrency. I look at the cryptocurrency, the blockchain as electricity. Electricity can be used for good or for bad. You can use it for electrical cars, for house, for appliances, or you can use it for torture. That will be one thing about it. So it depends how you're going to use it, but it's very important. Now, how it's going to protect the privacy. Once you have the files, for example, for the patients, the data that we collected about citizens, for their voting, vital information about people, in any country, you have it saved there. There's no way to change it. And if somebody hacked into part of the network, and usually it's thousands of computers have the same information, then they can isolate that. There is a protocol between the different nodes or computers in blockchain called, gossip protocol. That's the name of it. This protocol is checking, making sure that they are the same information. And if you find that like 10, 20 of them being altered, they just, disconnected them. They don't deal with them. They're out of the loop. So this will be very helpful. At the top of that, there is the concept of smart contracts. When you talk about smart contract added to the blockchain, you're going to have more dynamic behavior. For example, this information not going to be released until a certain time. That's smart contract. Or this information only be released to a certain people. And that's part of the smart contract. The information cannot change, but control of the flow of the information. I look at this as one way for protecting the data. The biggest challenge for blockchain is the cost. It's expensive. to maintain it. There are few engineers who understand it. There are few programmers who can do that. And also there is no big companies that pushing for that, like what we see in the current system here, and for a good reason. Why Meta, why Google, why they're not pushing for blockchain? Because they want everything to be centralized under in their servers, so they can have control on the data. But there is no control on the data. You control your own data. You control this, what will be written about you, what will be saved or not saved. That is the difference between the two. So the blockchain technology is a perfect solution. So we have to go against the public image. This is number one, because it's related to cryptocurrency, and also the cost of how can we maintain it and build it and make sure that it's available for everyone.
Excelente. Bueno, muy bien. Thank you, Professor. Excellent answers. Bueno, para finalizar, tengo una última pregunta que me gustaría hacerle al profesor, que tiene relación con estas tecnologías de Big Data, de inteligencia artificial, de blockchain, que estuvimos conversando. Y me gustaría preguntarle, de cara al futuro, ¿cómo ve usted, profesor, que estas tecnologías van a seguir evolucionando? ¿Y cuáles son los desafíos más grandes que usted ve en torno a lo que es la protección de la privacidad de las personas en este mundo donde la inteligencia artificial y los datos nos rodean?
Okay, that's a very good thing. You have to understand that it's not one technology that's going to be in the future. For example, when you talk about the future, you're talking about so many connected devices. The Internet of Things is an example of that. Internet of Things, by 2020, Cisco announced that there are 50 billion devices connected to the Internet. By 2025, is 75 billion devices connected to the Internet. And when I say that connected, is any device you buy that will be connected to the Wi-Fi, connected to your network at any moment. We see so many of the home appliances connected to the connected to the Internet. Your car is connected to the Internet. So this is why you see this big number. The more connected devices, the more the information will be exposed. The privacy will be an issue. So encryption techniques has to be better in this case to make sure that the information is secure. At the same time, the education of the users, because if they keep it at the default password of the devices, hackers can get into those devices. And there are so many stories about people not changing the password for a device they got it from the market, and without changing the default passwords available online. So this is one thing about the Internet of Things factor here. Big data is huge. The big data available, the increasing day after day, because we are using the internet, we are the new apps, we are communicating with some people. Their life is documented online. This is what they're doing. They have every single moment of their life is actually in their accounts. Now, how is that related to the artificial intelligence? When we talk about the artificial intelligence, is good because, and people are going after artificial intelligence because of three things. Number one, it's actually do things more accurate, faster, and cheaper. This is why people are gonna go and say, I want to have, I'm gonna ask ChatGPT or Gemini. It's basically cost you nothing. It's fast in the answer. It's more accurate in many cases. They give you precisely what you're looking for. Now, the more data we have, the better will be the models coming in the future. Artificial intelligence or generative AI, specifically generative AI, became a big thing nowadays because of three things. Number one is big data, because the data available now is unbelievable. Number two is the hardware. We have, NVIDIA, we have AMD. They can process the data. They can process them in parallel. That's why we have the transformer concept, from the famous, paper of 2017 by Google scientists. Number three is the algorithms. The algorithm that we have seen that will help the data to be processed. You have all the three elements together happening at the same time. You have a perfect storm. This is why 2022, in November 2022, ChatGPT just shocked the world. Why? Because all of the elements together there. So what we're gonna see more AI use in our life. We're gonna see not only on your phone, not only on your laptop or on your tablet. It's going to be on robot gonna be something that would, you add the AI to it, it's going to do tasks that we never imagined that other than a human can do it. Or the driverless cars, the autonomous airplanes, all of these things, AI will add the value. So it's going to be more intelligent. It's not just a simple program. So this is when we talk about the privacy will be really challenging. We are trying to have some regulation for the privacy, but the speed of AI is so fast that the regulation cannot catch up with it. Every time they have a new bill, if they look at the market, it's an old bill now. It's just talking about an old problem. There's a new problem happening there. This is going to be the challenge in this case. How can you have some kind of regulation, will have a guide rails that will keep it within the ethics? Ethics, when we talk about ethics and AI, we're talking about not bias against certain people from certain part of the world with certain, skin color, with a certain language, with certain look compared to others. How can you control that? How can you really make sure that it's not discriminating, it's not biased? The other thing is the hallucination concept in AI, which is giving you wrong answer because the AI would like you to be happy. They're not going to say, I don't know about that. Those things has to be solved. And this is all related to the privacy itself. From where to get that information, what will be the source of that information? I'm going to end with this. Companies like OpenAI, companies like Google, they sign contracts with news agencies, with publishers to use their information because they ran out of the public information. Now they have to go and pay for that information because this information is copy protected, and they cannot do it. They're going to be sued if they access that information.
Excelente reflexión, excelente visión de futuro. Coincido plenamente con todo. Creo que vamos a ver en el futuro cada vez más Big Data, más inteligencia artificial, más blockchain, más Internet de las cosas, más IoT. Y sin duda el desafío que tenemos por delante es, dado que esto va a seguir creciendo, se va a seguir incrementando, todas las oportunidades que en el medio se generan, oportunidades para poder formarse, para poder especializarse en estas tecnologías que ya están hoy, pero que van a dominar el futuro. Así que ha sido un placer estar en este vivo con el profesor Ahmed. Muchas gracias, profesor, por su tiempo y por la calidad de las respuestas. Nos vemos pronto, entonces.
En un mundo de cambios acelerados, evolucionar y crecer exige moverse más rápido que el entorno. Por ello, nacimos hace más de 30 años, convencidos de que la educación es la clave. Somos ADEN, el grupo de educación ejecutiva más grande de América Latina. Nos inspira a pensar la formación como herramienta de cambio sin fronteras. Contamos con 4 universidades oficiales y la mayor red de escuelas de negocios distribuidas en las principales ciudades de América Latina. Diseñamos una amplia gama de programas de formación de negocios en posgrado y grado. Ofrecemos consultorías para empresas y programas a la medida a través de Corporate Solutions. Hemos formado a más de 90.000 ejecutivos a lo largo de toda América Latina. Nos potenciamos entre todos para dar lo mejor como individuo, como equipo y como región. Trabajamos día a día en crear experiencias de aprendizaje con atributos de valor que potencian lo mejor de la formación. Aprender, compartir e impactar. El propósito inspira. Las acciones transforman. ADEN te acompaña.